Even after doing 20-year mortgages, I'm still asked, why should a person use a mortgage broker or an agent, a mortgage agent, to look after their mortgage? And it's always very important that you explain this in detail, because if your client does not understand what is the value that you're providing, do not assume that they know. They don't know. That's what they're asking. So explaining in detail, and right now in this video, I'm going to show you all the value that you are assuming that the person or the borrower or your client knows, but they actually don't know, and sometimes they don't understand or they don't realize. So number one, what is the main difference between them using you as a mortgage agent or as a mortgage broker versus the bank? Number one, it's a mindset. You and I know that as a mortgage broker, you are a business owner. You are on your own. You are building your business, okay? That's very important, because when you have that mentality, you always want to help. You want to always go the extra mile. You always want to provide a better service for your client. And you have to let them know that. At the bank, a lot of the time, the mindset is, I am working for somebody else, so I'm going to do the minimum required to meet my job position. Okay, so that's very important. On the number side, you want your client to be super happy so they can refer you, or so they can recommend to other people. At the bank, the mindset is that they have to meet the quotas, the numbers. They have KPIs and all these numbers that the banks have to, or put pressure on the poor people working at the bank, and they need to look after those numbers. So their intention is more on the numbers versus the person. Person should use a mortgage broker. And number two, super important, you have to stress this out. When you go to a bank, they're gonna give you only one option, their option. They're gonna wanna to highlight all the benefits, but they don't want you to see the negatives of that option. With you, you can give them 2, 3 options, even 4 options, okay? So they can compare and they can look what is best for you. Options are super important. You can give them a bank, you can give them a credit union, you can give them a monoline. You as a mortgage broker or agent has tons of options. The person at the bank has only one option, and they need to make your client fit into their only option. I always ask my clients, I know that the person at the bank are doing their best and they're really good people, but do you think that person, even if they're very good, do you think that if they know that there's a better option at another lender, do you think they would come to you and recommend an option outside their own bank? They cannot and they will not. And the only reason is because they're going to get fired. If their manager or superior knows that, they will get fired. So they cannot do it. With you, you're super happy to offer them a bank, a credit union, even their own lender, and you can openly discuss pros and cons. So options are key. The revenue model. So what is the revenue model with a bank? The revenue model with a bank, and you guys see this all the time, is that the bank has some cost of funds. So it costs them, let's say, 3% to produce a mortgage, and they're gonna offer you, let's say, a 4% rate. So the difference between the 4 and the 3% is their margin, is their spread, what they're willing to make on that mortgage. As a bank, they have to have that in mind all the time. And of course, if the person is not careful or the borrower is not careful and the bank can increase the margin, it's better for them. It's the model, okay? It's not right or wrong, it's just the way it is. With a mortgage broker or mortgage agent, you and I know that we do not care. We always try to get the lowest, the cheapest, the best rate and option for your clients, because your model is different. My model, similar to yours, is to make my clients so happy with the options and the service and the knowledge and the expertise that I bring to the table, that they're going to go out of their way and refer me a family member or a friend or somebody that is in need of a mortgage. So my revenue increases if I do a very good job, reduce the rate, give a lot of value to that client, and they go and refer me another person. Okay, that's the model for a broker or an agent. For a bank is the spread. So they always try to be right there where you're happy because of the rate, but if they can increase it, they will. If not, they will have to decrease it in order not to lose it. That is very important that your clients know. The next is very important. As a mortgage broker, the more you stay in the industry, the more you do mortgages, the more valuable you become, right? And because you sometimes came from another profession or you came even from the bank, you're here for the long term. You want to stay in this mortgage. The longer you stay, the more clients you have, the more referral you have, the more your business grows. When you're at a bank, you fall into one of three categories. Number one, you're very good at what you do. Somehow you can add value to your clients and you have lots of clients. You know what happens when a person at a bank is very good at what they do? They get promoted. So now your client, and you have to explain this to your client, will not see that person again because they've been promoted to another position. Okay? What is the second thing that can happen to a person? Maybe they're not good enough at the bank. They may not be good enough. If they're not good enough, what's going to happen? That bank is going to let them go. That bank is going to fire that person because they are not meeting their quotas or their numbers. Okay? So again, the person who did the mortgage with that individual at the bank is going to lose the person. They are not going to be able to have a long-term relationship, and that person will not be able to keep updating their mortgage over the long term. And then number three, what happens if they're not very good and they meet their numbers? So they're right in the middle. We human beings are like that. That person will seek some change. If they see that they're there for 2, 3, 4 years and nothing changes, they don't get promoted or they're not letting go. That person's gonna go, you know what? I need to look at some change. They themselves are gonna look for another position at another bank to see if they can go up or increase their business or do something. Okay, so that person will not be there for very long. Okay, so what I'm saying is, as a mortgage broker, you as an agent, your clients are for life. You can give them advice today at no cost. Today, tomorrow, when you fund the mortgage, in 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, you build up a good relationship and a good financial knowledge of your clients. So you understand how they are really well, and time over time, you can give them better advice and better mortgages with their existing lender or other lenders. What a benefit. Okay, again, as a broker, you can stay with your clients for the very long term. As a bank, the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. Now, another super important, transparency. Okay, I, as a mortgage broker, as a mortgage agent, I don't have any problems disclosing to a client the pros and the cons of every mortgage option. There isn't a perfect lender or a perfect bank. So every single one of them has benefits and have things that people should know aware before they go into that mortgage. And as a broker advisor, I don't mind disclosing both because I'm going to give you 3, 4 options. You choose whatever is best for you. My question is, when you go directly to your bank, do you think they're going to disclose the pros? Of course. Now, are they going to disclose the cons, the things that that bank does not do really well? Maybe it is the service. Maybe it is a clause on that contract. Maybe there is what we call a low rate basic, or maybe there's some benefit from that mortgage that was taken away in order to give you the lower rate. Would they disclose? What I've seen is they don't want to disclose the negative because that may you leave that bank for another option. With you, the process can be transparent because you show both the positives and the negatives. What a gift to work with a mortgage broker or a mortgage advisor. They're dealing with you, they are supporting an entrepreneur. Canada is a land of entrepreneurs. 98% of business owners in Canada are small business like you and me. Okay, so that person is going to support an entrepreneur. When you go directly to the bank, you're not even supporting the person because that person is on a salary most of the time. Okay, you're supporting mainly a shareholder, so a person who is already wealthy. They may not need the additional money where you could be using that to support a person that is feeding a family. Okay, so I hope this difference between going with a broker and going directly with the bank help you, and explain this in every single interaction with your clients. They do not know. Oh, there's one last one. It doesn't cost them anything to deal with you. It doesn't. The only thing that they need to do is fund the mortgage with you after all the options and the advice that you're giving them. That's amazing. The focus that a mortgage broker brings to a transaction, we don't even, there's a seventh option that you want to explain to your clients. The seventh is when you're dealing with you, you are laser focused in mortgages. That means that you only do mortgages. Most mortgage brokers are laser focused in mortgages. When they deal with a bank, they have to deal with mortgages. They have to deal with savings accounts. They have to deal with TFSAs. They have to deal with RSP sometimes. Sometimes they're mutual fund license. Sometimes they're insurance license. It's too much. They don't have the ability to focus like a hawk in your application, in your mortgage applications, because they are forced to be distracted by so many products and so many options that they have to offer you. Again, thank you very much for listening to these differences between dealing with a broker and agent and going directly with the bank. Camilo Rodriguez at Mortgages Lab.